Welcome back, everybody. This is a part 2 from the video I had done last week. In that video, I had covered who was to blame for the fall of the DCEU. Now I want to pose the question of what happens to the DCEU actors and creators? And also, what is the future for the new DC studios under Safran and Gunn? James Gunn says he wants to build a new DC universe, and in all honesty, it's probably something that should have been done from the very start. Affleck is done as Batman, but the door is open for him to direct something at some point. In fact, we'll specifically look at what Gunn tweeted about Affleck. Quote, "Met with Ben Affleck yesterday precisely because he wants to direct and we want him to direct. We just have to find the right project." End quote. Now this is interesting. Is this an actual goal of James Gunn, or is this just cap to placate the Snyderverse fans that are a little bit miffed about 10 years being wasted? Even if Affleck has a turn at directing for DC Studios, there is an interesting bit of possible news to come out. A quote-unquote reliable source from Marvel, who goes under the Twitter handle of My Time to Shine Hello, tweeted that Affleck has met with Marvel Studios to play the villain Dario Agger. For those who don't know, Agger is the CEO of the Marvel evil company Roxxon Energy Corporation. Believe me, this dude is unbelievably evil and is one hell of a character on his own. Then add the fact that Dario is also a Minotaur. You know, half man, half bull. That makes Agger a very interesting role for Affleck. Agger would be as far away from Batman and Bruce Wayne as one could possibly get. By the way, real quick, did you see that interview with Joe Manganiello about the script for Ben Affleck's Batman movie? According to a Collider article, Joe had this to say about the abandoned project. It was a really dark story in which Deathstroke was like a shark or a horror movie villain that was dismantling Bruce's life from the inside out. It was a systematic thing. He killed everyone close to Bruce and destroyed his life to try to make him suffer because he felt that Bruce was responsible for something that happened to him. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty awesome to me. In fact, it kind of sounds a little bit more captivating than what we got with the Batman. Let's talk about Henry Cavill and his future without Superman. Unfortunately for Henry, he had already quit The Witcher and probably made an enemy out of Netflix in the process, all in order to give his full attention to his return as the Man of Steel. I suspect he'll not be a part of any future Enola Holmes projects, or anything for that matter that Netflix puts its name on. Luckily, Cavill has a few projects already in the pipeline. First, a Matthew Vaughn produced movie called Argylle. It's a spy movie that is planned to be a start of a trilogy. Argylle is set to be released sometime this year, being 2023. Cavill is also attached to a couple different films that have yet to have release dates. First being The Rosie Project, a movie about an unlucky professor who creates an elaborate questionnaire in effort to find a wife. However, he meets an unconventional woman who doesn't match any of his requirements, but she might actually be the perfect match for him. The next movie is The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. That was a bit of a tongue twister. A film based on the book by war correspondent and military historian Damian Lewis. The movie is set to be directed by Snatch director Guy Ritchie, who had worked with Cavill previously on The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and follows a group of highly skilled soldiers recruited by the British Army to strike against the Nazis behind enemy lines in World War II. They are a little unconventional in their tactics, so they are referred to as ungentlemanly. This sounds like fun, actually. But like I said, there's no release date, at least at the time of recording. Of course, the big move Cavill has made is with a Warhammer series for Amazon. If this does make it to either the big screen or a streaming service, it could pay big dividends for the former Man of Steel. One drawback is that Amazon doesn't quite have the rights to the Warhammer property, but I'm pretty sure they'll be able to work out something. This could be the biggest project Cavill has done to date, since he would not only be acting in, but also a producer of the series. Also, it seems Amazon also likes the fact that Henry is a huge fan of the IP. I mean, really, he talks about it in interviews. He likes it and wants to keep this adaptation as accurate to the source material as possible. Now, the big question is, will Henry Cavill get the franchise so coveted by all British actors? And that is the role of the Doctor. Just kidding. But damn, that would actually be pretty amazing, wouldn't it? I am, of course, talking about the franchise of James Bond. Up until recently, Henry was the odds-on favorite to play the 00 agent, until a report surfaced a few days ago. There have been rumors the producers of James Bond met with Kick-Ass star Aaron Taylor Johnson. According to Culture Crave on Twitter, the meeting went well. This, of course, is not definitive proof that Taylor Johnson will be the next James Bond. He could be cast as another character, maybe even a villain, but it wouldn't surprise me if Aaron Taylor Johnson is now a frontrunner for the British super spy. Personally, I still think Cavill is the ideal choice for the role, and I doubt my mind would be changed by the third best Quicksilver. And yes, I'm adding Ralph Bohner as a separate Quicksilver. Recently, yet another Marvel casting rumor has taken the internet kind of by storm, and that is Cavill taking on the role of Captain Britain. Now, I would love to see Cavill as the Sentry, which is, well, let's just say it, a Superman-inspired character. But yet, he's more powerful and kind of has some mental health issues. Yeah, good times. If these casting rumors, and I mean the Captain Britain one, are true, it may happen as early as the next Captain America movie, according to a fandom article. They described the possible casting as being a game changer. All in all, it sounds like Henry Cavill is going to be okay. But what about Gal Gadot? Despite recent events with Wonder Woman 3 being placed on permanent hiatus, James Gunn has denied rumors that Gal Gadot has been, well, fired. In a Twitter response to the BS Boys tweet about Cavill and Gadot being booted from the DCU, Gunn responded with, quote, "I'm not sure where you're getting that we booted Gal," end quote. Does this mean Gal still has a future with DC Studios? At this point, I'd say probably not in the immediate future, but later on, who knows? At the moment, Gadot has a few projects in the works, like a film called Heart of Stone. This movie is described as being a spy thriller. Man, everybody likes spy thrillers, I guess. Also, a live-action version of Snow White, helmed by the Amazing Spider-Man director Mark Webb. Gal will be playing the Evil Queen. She's also filming a Red Notice sequel as the Bishop. The Wonder Woman actress also has a few projects in pre-production, including a miniseries based on Hedy Lamarr and a biopic movie about Cleopatra. The last movie may or may not happen. Originally, Patty Jenkins was set to direct the movie, but now it's going to be helmed by Carrie Skoglund, who was involved in the MCU series Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, let's move on to The Rock. Dwayne Johnson recently tweeted, quote, "I wanted to give you a long-awaited Black Adam update regarding the character's future in the new DC universe. James Gunn and I connected, and Black Adam will not be in their first chapter of storytelling. However, DC and the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in future DC multiverse chapters. James and I have known each other for years and have always rooted for each other to succeed. It's no different now, and I will always root for DC and Marvel to win, and win big. You guys know me, and I have a very thick skin, and you can always count on me to be direct with my words. These decisions made by James and DC leadership represent their version of DCU through their creative lens. After 15 years of relentless hard work to finally make Black Adam, I'm very proud of the film, and we delivered for fans worldwide. I will always look back on the fan reaction to Black Adam with tremendous gratitude, humility, and love. We did great. To my very passionate and vocal Black Adam / superhero genre fans, I love you. Thank you, and I will always listen to you and do my best to deliver and entertain you. What a hell of a month. Now we all need some Terramana. That's his own personal tequila brand, by the way. Have a productive week and happy holidays to you and your families. DJ. Dwayne Johnson, of course. What can we glean from this tweet? Well, I'd say it's a very polite and face-saving bowing out of future DC projects. Sure, anything is possible, but I doubt there will be any Black Adam sequels in the future. I will say it's interesting that he mentioned Marvel, but did not mention Henry Cavill. As I've reported before, more than likely Jason Momoa will probably leave the role of Arthur Curry in order to play Lobo. There has been no word that I can find about Ray Fisher's future with DC Studios, but I think it's fairly safe to assume that he will not be a part of any Cyborg projects going forward. What is surprising is a report that came out recently about the Flash star Ezra Miller still possibly having a future in DC films after the Flash movie. If this is truly the case, I can think of no rational reason for keeping Miller in that role aside from his acting talent. But quite frankly, there are plenty of talented actors. This rumor comes from a Variety article, by the way. But what is next for DC Studios? Well, one cool thing about Gunn is he is always willing to share his opinions on Twitter, for better or worse. In one recent tweet, he stated that our, Safran and Gunn, slate is for 8 to 10 years. This was in response to a tweet about their plan only being for 3 years. Gunn also did not confirm the rumor about Miller staying in the DCEU, or DCU, sorry, but he hasn't denied it either. More than likely, this is studio politics. Warner Brothers can't say that Miller has been fired, with the Flash movie yet to be released, nor can they even allude Ezra may not have a future going forward, at least with that studio. Warner Brothers has pumped a lot of money into the Flash movie because at one point it was going to be a soft reboot of the entire franchise. Now the reboot may no longer be the case, but still they spent the money and they're going to try to get it recouped if possible. After the Flash movie is released and all the PR is done and yada yada yada, they could probably let it leak that Ezra has been let go, or maybe they'll keep it quiet in case they want to use them later. Either way, I expect they're probably going to play this close to the vest. We also know from Gunn's Twitter that he is writing a Superman story that, of course, will not include Henry Cavill. Gunn described this project as being early in Superman's life, but stopped short at calling it an origin story, which I really hope this isn't going to be an origin story. We know how Superman came to be. We don't need it again. The one thing we also know, even before Gunn and Safran took command of DC film, was that Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav wanted a singular cinematic universe that could also be branched off to the small screen, very similar to what the MCU has with their Disney Plus series that tie into their movies. No official word has come out, but I would speculate that this would mean the end of the CW multiverse. This would include shows like The Flash, which really is no surprise since that particular show is due to wrap up soon, but also HBO Max shows like Doom Patrol, Stargirl, and Titans. Sadly, I could see Superman and Lois being in that category as well, which is a shame because it's really good. All movies that have already been shot under the previous management will be released in some form. This includes the Shazam sequel, the Flash movie, Blue Beetle, with the kid from Cobra Kai. But this one I could actually see either being shelved or being released on HBO Max. It's likely that the first film from this new management won't be out until 2025. But we will know more once Safran and Gunn roll out their plans later on this month. What I find interesting is the fact that James Gunn is still willing to keep movies like the Matt Reeves Batman and the Todd Phillips version of the Joker in their own pocket universes. Both sequels are going to have theatrical releases and will exist alongside whatever plans Gunn has for the DCU proper. Now, I do get it with the Batman since it made quite a bit of money and had high critic and audience scores. I also kind of understand it with the Joker because it's pretty much golden Oscar bait. And I'm sure the studio would love to make a run for Best Actress with Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn in the musical sequel to the Joker. I still think it's really pretentious and kind of hurts the overall vision of DC Studios, but that's just me. I'll still watch it. Heck, I may even do a review for it for the channel when it comes out, grudgingly. I do think the Batman would be a really good starting point to spin off a cinematic universe. The character is young and inexperienced. I could see you throwing a Superman and other DC characters into that universe. Now, from what my understanding is, Matt Reeves wants the Batman to exist in an Earth 2 universe and not the main timeline of DC. And I get that, but Reeves could always be replaced with a different director after the sequel. Heck, who knows? Maybe even Affleck could direct future Batman projects. Damn, wouldn't that be a turn of events? Ultimately, we should know soon what James Gunn has in mind for the new DC cinematic universe. At this point, I hope it goes in the direction of a total reboot, with the one possible exception of keeping Pattinson. But that's just my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours. Feel free to express yourself in the comment section, and please give a like and subscribe if you enjoy this content and want to see more. Fare thee well, my friends, and take care. Cue the music.